Hello, ladies. It is Joe. Quick question for you. Have you ever been dating a guy and you're wondering, is this really the guy for me? Should I leave or should I stay? Should I continue to invest my time? Well, if that sounds like you, today I've got a great video for you because we're going to talk about the three signs which tell you it's time to walk away. Right? So let's just get right into it. Number one is that when he treats you like a convenience and not a priority. And you know what I mean by that. It's like when a guy, it's all about him and on his terms. It's like he calls when it's convenient for him. He shows up every now and then, right? He treats you like an object, right? It's more about, the sex. It's more about, how you look. He doesn't really take a genuine interest in you as a person, as you as an individual, right? And most importantly, if he cheats. If he's cheating on you, you're not a priority. Even if he's telling you all the right things, all the things you want to hear, you are not a priority. And you've got to understand, if you are not a priority and you're treated like a convenience, that's not the right guy for you. It's time to walk away. Now, the second one, and I know this is some of you, it's hard to believe, but this is when guys lie more than once. So, what do I mean by that? Everybody lies. Well, almost everybody. So let's just be honest. Sometimes it's those little white lies, which is like, you know, can you come over? Well, I'm really busy. When you're not really busy. Or it's like, I'm having a party. I'd love to see you. I'll try and make it. When there's no way I'm making it. I'm not coming. I'm too busy, or I don't want to come. Right. So that's what I'm talking about, lies. So sometimes there's those little lies, and I'm not excusing them. It's just human behavior. But I'm talking about when you catch a guy and you know that he's lying, where he's telling you something and it's BS and you know it's BS, right? You scroll on his phone and you see he's talking to another woman and it's, kind of suggestive, kind of provocative. And it's like, oh, we're just friends. It's an old friend or it's an old girlfriend. You're just like, no, this isn't true. And then you catch him in another one. I believe everybody gets the benefit of the doubt. Everybody screws up. And it's like, okay, you'll get one chance. As long as it's not like a complete deal breaker, but like those little white lies. But then when you stand in your power and you say, look, I don't play that game. Like if you can't be honest with me, then I can't be with you. And you stay in that place, it's going to happen. Now, I'll give you an example. There was a time in my life I was actually married, newly married, and we were saving for a house. And I'm a big music guy. I love concerts. Right? I've been to over 300 in my life. Just I love music of all types. And one of the individuals I hadn't seen at that point in my life was Paul McCartney, one of the original Beatles, right? So I wanted to see him in the worst way. And my wife and I are talking, we're not supposed to save money. We're supposed to save money. We're saving up for a house, all of that. So Paul McCartney tickets came and I bought them. And then said to my wife, she's like, I got the tickets. I'm like, oh, I got this great deal on it. And I lied about the price, right? Because it kind of justified. So thinking she wouldn't check. And what'd she do? She checked and caught me. And I felt like that big. And that's where I learned the lesson that, you know what? This is the person I'm going to share my life with. I need to respect her. I need to tell the truth. And I need to say, look, this is it. And communicate. I really want to go. It's really important. I understand we're doing this. And work together and communicate and work it out. Or I need to honor her as my mate and say, you know what? Yes, we have this agreement. And you know what? Even though I want to go to this concert, we're not going to go. Now, I can tell you, knowing my wife now and the kind of person she is, if I would have done that, if I would have been a man, I would have just communicated to her and said, look, you know what? I love music. It's really important. It's this. You know what? If we can sacrifice on this, or I'll sacrifice doing this, or not do this, or I'll sell whatever it may be to show her that it was really important, my wife would have said, not a problem at all. But again, I was that coward. I was that boy. So I'm sharing this with you to help you understand how a quality man really works. Is that people are going to try and get away with things, but when you show them that you're serious and that they're going to lose you, they're going to realize, just like I did, like, oh shit, I can't do this. Right? So the third, and this is probably the most important one, it's when a guy doesn't have empathy. So what I mean by that is when a guy doesn't have the emotional intelligence to understand that you are a woman on your journey and you see and experience things differently than he does. So it doesn't mean that he has to agree with you. It doesn't mean that he has to like what you're saying, but he has the emotional maturity to say, help me to understand why you feel the way you do, why you see it that way, why you think that way. And that starts a healthy dialogue. Because if you're going to have this relationship and go forward, everybody talks about getting a guy and having a guy, right? Or being in love. But they don't talk about what happens afterwards, right? As you're going through life and you're going through this journey, and life is throwing shit at you, and there's obstacles, and there's speed bumps, and there's challenges financially, there's health issues, there's family issues, all this other stuff. And you're going through stuff as a woman, right? Emotionally or physically, physiologically, whatever it may be. If that guy doesn't have the ability to be empathetic, to understand who you are and what you're going through, and then to communicate that with you, then ultimately your relationship is going to be really, really, really difficult. I can't tell you how many women that I've talked to that are still married in relationships 20, 30 years with a partner who doesn't have empathy, and it just eats at their soul. They're just like, why doesn't he understand me? Why doesn't he get me? I try and communicate. Just because I always say he's like emotionally paralyzed, right? Think of him as being emotionally paralyzed. You may think he has the ability because he looks like it, right? But at the emotional unconscious level, he is paralyzed. He just doesn't have the ability to do what you think. Not that he can't develop it, but he's not interested in it. He hasn't been this way his whole life. It's worked for him. He thinks you're the problem, not him. So anytime a man, and this is how one of the ways you can tell, is when a man says, you know what, that's just the way I am. So when a man says, that's just the way I am, what he's really saying, is this who I am? And I'm not interested in changing. Even if he knows that's the problem, the fact that he says, that's who I am, and he's using that as an excuse is showing you and telling you that he's not interested in changing, and he's not going to change. Now, if you sit there and waste your time and hope that he's going to change, then that's going to be on you. Now, I can tell you, you have a better chance of getting that man to change if you say, you know what, I'm done, I'm out of here. And then he realizes that, oh shit, that cost me one of the best things in my life. She was amazing. I don't want to lose her. So now, you know what, I need to go and make the changes so maybe I can get her back. That's a quality guy. That's a guy who goes, oh shit, I really fucked up. I better do something about it. And when that guy comes back and he does the work to change, things can be great. However, if he doesn't, if he says, well, she didn't want me because I couldn't understand, or I didn't have empathy, or, I couldn't put myself, whatever it may be, then he's a boy, he's not the right guy, and not a guy worth investing in. So I want you to go back and watch this again, because this is really important. I know if you're out there, you're dating, you're starting relationships, you're with a guy, you don't want to waste more time, right? You're like, I don't want to waste time with a guy who's not going to be the relationship partner that I really desire. You need to understand, if you experience any of these three signs, it's a sign for you to walk away. Now, again, if you don't, it's not going to be the guy's fault. It's going to be your fault. Okay? So I hope this helps. Hope it resonated. If you did, go ahead and like this, subscribe to our channel. And if you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them in the box below. I'll see you next time. Have an amazing week. Much love. If you're at that point in your life where you're tired of being single, you want to find that one special guy to share your life with, and you can't understand why you're having such a hard time finding him, I'd like to invite you to join our free Facebook group. It's a private group where women just like you are discovering the truth of what it really takes to attract a quality man and a love that lasts. You're going to learn how to identify the real obstacles, especially those that are unconscious, which are preventing you from finding the love that you're looking for. And you're also going to learn how you can turn your love life around, date successfully, and put yourself in position to find the type of man that your heart desires and deserves. Now, if that's something that sounds interesting to you, you can go to facebook.com/groups/findlovethatlasts. Or you can click on the link below in the description of this video. I'll see you there.